Good morning. Oh, CSL family, you can turn your cameras on and wave. Let's say hello to each other this morning. I see you.
Hello, Eliza on the phone.
Good morning. This is Black History Month, and so in honor of Black History Month, we're going to sing the Black National Anthem. Yeah. So if you know the words, come on and sing along at home. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way with tears that have watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till not we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou hast by thy might lead us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest feet stray from the places, our God, where we need thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land, our native land. Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome Nina Hutchinson.
Good morning. And thank you, Omega Ray and Kev Choice. It's always good to start with goosebumps. I am Elena Hutchinson. I'm your host today, and this is the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living online. This is a place where we learn spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all of life. So in order to maintain a sacred space and enhance the quality of our tech stuff, we'd like you to make sure you've got your microphone muted and your video off. And we will, as usual, have a chance at the end to turn everything on and say hello. As we start our service, we'd like to offer a special welcome to those who are joining us for the very first time. We would love for you to introduce yourself in chat if you feel moved to do so. And if you'd like more information about us, or if you'd like to sign up for our weekly newsletter, please email our administrative coordinator, Constance Chapman. Her email address is constance@oaklandcsl.org. And now we would like to bless our children wherever they are. If you're muted, please feel free to read aloud with me. We honor all our youth and children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you for being in our lives. And so it is. So, y'all know what comes next. Announcements. We have a few. It is February, y'all, second month of the year already. And this is the month where our theme is Inner Life. That's CSL's theme. And it is the month when we explore how our annual theme of living with everyday wonder is playing out in our inner lives. This week we welcomed the Year of the Tiger. We welcomed Imbolc, the Celtic festival celebrating the beginning of spring, which I now know because of our amazing tech team member, John Russell. It is the beginning of spring and the emergence of new life that's being celebrated there. And we saw the beginning of Black History Month. This is the month where we remember that we are one country, one world, one people, and that Black history is our history. This Wednesday, February 9th, our Black History Month series continues with practitioner Lucian Baker, who'll be guiding us through our weekly satsang as we ask ourselves, who am I and why am I here? If you've heard Lucian speak, you know that he has an uncanny ability to soothe you like a baby and wake you, you know what, up, all at the same time. And if you haven't heard him, I have another question, which is why not? Wednesday is your chance. The meditation is at 6:30 and the service is at 7. And you will not want to miss next Sunday's sermon with Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards, a familiar and very welcome presence here at OCSL. Her topic is Pause and Find the Cause. And of course, all our services are continuing on Zoom. Our Black History Month series also includes a couple of groups that allow you to join the dialogue yourself. The CAST Book Study group is back with practitioner emeritus Carmen West Jefferson, facilitating an 8-week study of the book Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. According to NPR, it is a masterwork of writing, a profound achievement of scholarship and research that stands also as a triumph of both visceral storytelling and cogent analysis. According to me too, but NPR said it better. This class is also taking place on Zoom and starts Monday, February 7th at 6:30, again for 8 weeks. On the events page of the website, you can sign up and make your love offering. I've done this book study with Carmen, so give Carmen a lot of love. You will not regret it. The Guidance for a Spiritual Journey group meets daily at noon for half an hour or more. This noontime spiritual journey started a year ago during Black History Month and continues with daily readings and discussions that are rich and full of wisdom. Each day, a participant reads from Guidance for a Spiritual Journey by Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, who served for over 40 years as founder and minister of the Guidance Church of Religious Science. The season for nonviolence has begun, and for the next 2 months, we will be putting our consciousness and attention on nonviolence, because what we put our attention on grows. When you sign up to take part, you'll receive a daily email with thoughts to contemplate. After you've signed up, and I am told only after you sign up, you can pick up a booklet for journaling. They'll be on a table outside the social hall. And the sign-up link will, in addition to being on the events page, it'll also be in the Village News tomorrow. Calm, the Compassion Attention to Loss group, is meeting today after service. Join with practitioners Zoe DeMuro and Bonnie Gonzalez for a healing discussion of honoring grief through ritual. Calm is meeting on Zoom at 12:30. Details are also on the events page of the website. And stay tuned for a presentation later in the service by our nonprofit partner for February, which is the East Bay School for Boys. If you are in the mood for a heartwarming video featuring small children, this is your day. So, for everything else that's going on at Oakland Center, as usual, everything is on our website. It's oaklandcsl.org. Please join me as we read now our vision and mission statement, and if you are muted, please feel free to read aloud. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to transformation and spiritual growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. And now I will leave you in the capable hands of our pulpit assistant, Constance Chapman.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Constance Chapman, and I am going to be your pulpit assistant today. We're going to start by reading our sacred covenant to bring in our new minister. And as soon as it comes up on the screen, I'll start reading it. As you know, we can read this together. We read it every day, and it is an energy that is going to call in the new minister or ministers. So please read along. Even know that even if we cannot hear your voice, Spirit does, and that the person or persons who are getting ready to put in their application are also hearing it. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to reveal Spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as wisdom. I further know that my new minister is a fulfillment of that which has been promised by Spirit, for it is written, I am filled with divine wisdom. I allow divine mind to fill my mind now. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as unity in the community. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself, for I am inspiring unity in diversity, embracing and nourishing our community. I am awakening the wisdom within. I am healing and expanding our community with the power of love. I am engaging the community in building a world that works for everyone. I am deepening family consciousness. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they are revealed in a way that illumines Spirit and serves the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. Ashe. Oh, so just breathing that in. I now have 2 readings for you. The first one is another one by Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, and this is what goes on at that noontime reading. There are 2 ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. My secret of inner power is redoubled today as I receive fresh inspiration. And the second reading is by our own Ernest Holmes. We believe that spirit is embodied in everyone, and that we are all embodiments of the one spirit. So just taking those words, that beautiful music that we've already heard, the incredible announcements, just taking that all into your heart. Just breathing it in and knowing that that all of that is God in action, that all of that is God in spiritual presence. Because what I know is that God is everywhere present, that God is all there is, and that God is the beginning and the end, the top and the bottom. It is the well without a bottom. It is the circle without a rim. It is a container that has no bounds. It is all of that. And that energy is so grand and so glorious that it contains all the other energies. It contains the energy of chaos. It contains the energy of anger. It contains the energy of discontent. It contains all of that. And it contains it with love. It holds it with love, allowing it to be what it is and to become more of itself, so that that energy of anger can transform into kindness. The energy of discontent can transform into faith. And so I just speak my word, and I just know that that is who and what my life is, and I know that that is the life of everyone on this call. It is the life of everyone on this call, everyone who's coming into this call, everyone who even thought about coming onto this call. And so I just know that today, I just speak my word, and I know that today is blessed and very blessed. That we are blessed with the incredible musicians, Kevin Omega. We are blessed by having Reverend Celeste speak with us today. We are so blessed by having our nonprofit partner here today. That all of those things are godly ordained, that they are in the right time, in the right place, and that no matter what appears to be in the way, that it just moves smoothly and as one. And so I am so grateful for knowing this truth. I am so grateful for knowing this truth. And so I just release this word. I let it go because it is done. And so please join me in saying, and so it is. Ashe. Blessed be. And so now I'm going to turn this over back to our incredible musicians of Kev Choice and Omega Ray.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming. We can help shape what's ahead. Kindness as our currency, the commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. Helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Look up now, people, but keep your ear to the ground. We are the river flowing, generosity abound. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. Helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Honeybees serve sweetness only to help the world bloom, bringing love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit. We can learn a thing or two. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And now we'd like to welcome the beautiful Reverend Jerry.
Thank you both so much. What a beautiful song. And it's such an affirmation. I believe in the power of kindness. I believe in the power of love. That's a beautiful affirmation for all of us to remember. So good to see you. I'm Reverend Jerry Carter, your minister here for the time being. And I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited about everything that's happening in our community right now. And I want to share a little bit about that with you. You know, our Oakland Center for Spiritual Living Black History Month was launched just last Wednesday by Bonnie Gonzalez, practitioner, at our satsang service. And she shared a powerful exercise with us about who am I and why am I here, as we explored living our purpose. And so it was such a fabulous opening to Black History Month. And each Wednesday and each Sunday, we have dedicated our services to powerful speakers. So I encourage you to not miss out on this month for sure. You know, Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans at a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. So this week has turned into a month, and I say 365 days for sure. And since 1976, every US president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada, and more recently, the United Kingdom and Ireland, also devote a month to celebrating Black History Month. I personally joined a diversity book club some 10 years ago, where I had the opportunity to meet up with others interested in learning more about the rich African American culture that exists right here in our own community, in our center, in our city, here in California in the United States. It was an eye-opening experience to really get out of my comfort zone and truly dedicate my time and energy to learning about our differences, but more than that, our similarities. I encourage us all to continue to celebrate Black History Month throughout the year, get to know others at a deeper level, study and learn. In fact, a good place to start is tomorrow evening with our practitioner emeritus, Carmen West Jefferson. Her book study, Cast, will begin. This is sure to be a rich and wonderful journey, trust me. So please consider the Cast book study as a wonderful start to learning more, to deepening more in consciousness and learning about ourselves individually and as a collective. So more than this, we're focusing on amazing speakers this month. And I am so thrilled today to announce our speaker, Celeste Fraser, Reverend Celeste. I'm so excited to have her with us. And I want to share a little bit about her. She said, I have a long bio and I have a short bio. Well, I think her presence here today is worth reading her long bio. So let me share this with you so you know what you're in store for today. It's going to be an amazing service. It already has been. The tone has already been set with our musicians and all of our support team and everybody who has promoted and prepared us for today. So Reverend Celeste Fraser has been a spiritual leader of 3 centers for spiritual living, 2 in the Chicago area, as well as the East Bay Church of Religious Science in Oakland. Reverend Celeste is a guest speaker and facilitator at many New Thought centers and has presented at regional and international conferences. As an ordained minister, Reverend Celeste's podcast, Mystic Magic, is on all your favorite podcast venues and Unity Online Radio. Reverend Celeste was among the first diversity trainers and a certified regional visioning coordinator for the Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Celeste regularly facilitates visioning workshops in churches as well as for individuals and corporations. Her new app, Conscious Grace, is available on Apple and on the web. Reverend Celeste facilitates several spiritually transformational workshops as well. Reverend Celeste is a concerned community activist with a global consciousness. Reverend Celeste has directed outreach ministries to convalescent homes, children's hospitals, hospices, and prisons, providing shut-ins with love and light. You may find her praying on the street corner or marching in the street for women's rights, peace in the streets, or healing and injustice. She facilitates regular conversations on diversity with an eye toward achieving equity and inclusion. She is the event coordinator for the upcoming Celebrating Our Soul, a New Thought conference by people of African descent, which will be at Unity Village and online from August 11th to 14th, 2022. Reverend Celeste is an actress who has done print, commercial, film, and television. She has written, directed, and produced short films and is a recipient of an award from the Black American Cinema Society. She is a published poet and essayist, a playwright of several scripts, and produced screenwriter. She is an expressive and creative being, as you're soon to find out. Reverend Celeste's previous books, Divine Work Play and In Spirit in Love, are available on Amazon and Kindle. She is a contributing author to several anthologies and has contributed her writing to publications such as Agape's Inner Vision, Creative Thought magazine, and the Science of Mind magazine. In fact, check her out in this February Science of Mind magazine. She has an article there. Her upcoming book, Common Miracles, Frequent Illusions, containing her stories and insights into everyday miracles, is expected to be released this spring. So, without further ado, I am so pleased and honored to welcome to our Zoom platform today, Reverend Celeste A. Fraser.
Thank you, Reverend Jerry. That was a mouthful, I know. Hello, everybody. What's up, Oakland? It is so good to even virtually be with you. I got a lot of love for Oakland and definitely a whole bunch for the people there. And so I am just really grateful to be on this platform at Oakland CSL. I've often been in the audience for one thing or another, but I'm glad to be here with you any kind of way. So here we are. It's the first Sunday, and what they're calling Black History Month or African American History Month, which is really kind of comical to me because I appreciate the appreciation. And the truth is that Black history did not start on a plantation or during Middle Passage on a boat. Black history is the birth of human history. And so, you know, the temples that were built were just representations of the cosmos and of spiritual development. All of humankind came from Africa. And so, based on the fossil record, the earliest ancestors of Homo sapiens lived in Africa from between 3 to 4 million years ago. And the history of human evolution is charted by scientists based on a record of changes in DNA. And it's the DNA molecule that stores and passes along the genetic information used to shape the physical body. And so a lady named Rebecca Cann at the University of California at Berkeley suggests that the DNA in modern humans originated from a single sub-Saharan African woman who lived approximately 200,000 years ago. How's that for Black history? The genetic record indicates the descendants of a single African woman migrated to every continent except Antarctica. I know, because the cold is really wicked, right? But the spiritual implication of this research is that all humans alive today are members of a single family originating over 10,000 generations ago in East Africa. Okay, now breathe that in. You know, we talk about oneness as if it's something that we need to strive for, and it's just the truth of who we are. Come on now. So, you know, most literature about African Americans who made contributions don't even start until like after the civil rights era. And so there's so much more, even in this country, that we are beginning to unravel and see, because the late 19th and 20th century material is still just being protected under copyright law. But, you know, a lot of publications by white people in the 20s are available. So we know the inequities started, you know, before Middle Passage, whatever the intention was when people came over. But our theology, our science of mind, theology even was born in Kemet. You know, some of you may know about the Kabbalion. You may know about, you know, the laws that were established in Egypt centuries and centuries ago, right? And so we are knowing that whomever our teachers are have been constantly giving us more information that derived from Africa. And I only have a few minutes, but I would love to tell you about all of the wonderful African theology, and that we are still resonating with that today. And so in the Bible, they've only got maybe like about 3 or 4 references to Black people, right? There was Ebed Melech, and he was a Cushite servant of the king of Judah. Now, Cushite is Ham's son, Cush, who was Black, right? And so it's interesting how it's kind of sprinkled who was Black and who wasn't mentioned as being Black. But hello, they were all in Africa. Come on now. So Ebed Melech was the one who helped Jeremiah. Now, Jeremiah just came, and announced that the king of Babylon was going to conquer Jerusalem. Now, you know how they treat the messenger sometimes. So they were so upset with Jeremiah that they wanted to do away with him, but they weren't going to just drop him in a hole. They would ease him into a hole inch by inch, right? And so Ebed Melech went to the king and said, come on now, this isn't right. Let's not do this. And the king was like, whatever. So Ebed goes and takes Jeremiah from this hole and saves his life, right? And there's a couple of other stories that you can find in the Bible. There's Simon of Cyrene who carried the cross for Jesus, right? And then there was this Ethiopian eunuch who was a court official of Candace, the queen of the Ethiopians, who saw Philip, a disciple. Philip approached the chariot that the eunuch was driving. But at the time, the eunuch was just sitting there reading. We Black people love to be educated. I'm going to say that more than once. But Philip went and started talking to him about Jesus as the Messiah. And he got so excited about it that he asked to be baptized. So there's this story here of how Philip was able to, help to proselytize and baptize this poor lowly eunuch, right? And it's just interesting, sometimes I wonder, they don't really give the details about eunuchs and how that came to be, but I won't labor there. Moses' wife was Black, Zipporah. And because Moses had forgotten to circumcise their son, and she knew that if they found out that Moses hadn't done it, and here he is, supposed to be like super Jew, and he didn't even circumcise his own son, she took a knife and did it herself. But this is what we do. Where Black women are so entrenched in doing what needs to be done. And I'm not saying only Black women, but I'm saying there's a historical record of it that goes back for centuries. Okay. The thing is, as it says in your readings, we are all embodiments of one spirit. So to talk about oneness requires us to take off a lot of the restrictions, a lot of the blinders. I know that there's a lot of controversy over critical race theory right now. There's a lot of controversy saying, well, we don't need people to know the history. They're too young to know, but that's not a privilege that little Black children have. We have to learn early in life to be careful. And it's a horrible way for a young mind and a young heart to start to be developed. And the suggested topic that Centers for Spiritual Living is asking us to do today is, can I see the God in me? And I'm inviting us instead into spiritual magnificence, journey of the soul. Because sometimes we have to wrestle, like Jacob did with the message. We have to be determined to not let go of the messenger until we get the message. And so no matter whether it's around racism, sexism, homophobia, whatever the ism is, whatever that thing that is seeking to separate us just so somebody can feel safe about being who they are, right? Whatever that is, the Science of Mind text tells us, that we are. Ernest Holmes says, we believe the spirit is embodied in everyone and that we are all embodiments of the one spirit, right? So he says, we must make our own mistakes, suffer from our own foolishness, and we must also make our own return journey into righteousness. God is, was, and will remain the essence of life, truth, and purity. Let us enter the essence in belief and be free from our unbelief and human mistakes. Can we just talk about mistakes for a minute? Can we just talk about it? Because, mistakes that we make, we punish other people with. When we make mistakes, it is so hard for us to live with ourselves that we think we have to punish somebody else. Oh, I know that don't apply to y'all. I'll say that it applies to me because I am knowing that if I'm not feeling in the oneness for any particular reason, if I'm not feeling enough, I'm not the kind of person who's going to make somebody else feel smaller so that I can feel enough. But you may have experienced those kind of people who do that, But Daniel Morgan says there's two ways of spreading light. You can either be the candle or the mirror who reflects it. So we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to reflect the light. We have an opportunity to go beyond the isms and to seek to know something greater about our brother. A Course in Miracles says, I trust my brothers who are one with me. And it's kind of limited in the genders. I trust my sisters who are one with me. I trust my non-binary friends who are one with me. I trust the non-binary people that I don't know are one with me. We cannot simply make up stuff in our minds, right? And I'm so excited that y'all are embarking on the caste book because I've been facilitating a discussion on caste since last year. Will probably end around March or April. But, the thing about caste is it truly reveals a lot about the history that's been hidden. When Dr. Martin Luther King went to India, the way that they were describing him was that he's one of the untouchables in the United States of America, right? And it even kind of jarred him a little bit. It was like, oh, okay. But to think of how the untouchables are treated in India is to know that, there's so much fear around, being near these people, right? And so this mental construct was created so that there would be a separation. Although there was a time when during Reconstruction period, and actually even before, but particularly during Reconstruction period, the whites that didn't own property and the blacks, they were getting along. There were even black people in the legislature, right? But there had to be a suppression because everybody can't be on top. So that means somebody else is going to have to take low. But we don't come from a weakness. We come from a spiritual magnificence. Oh my God, if James Weldon Johnson was writing about lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, somebody must have known something about the grace of God. Somebody must have known something about the glory and the power of God. And so when you're singing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us, then you might know a little bit about the journey and how an underground railroad was able to be. You're starting to see more films and more representations of what that journey was like. But you know, we have something that is unique inside of each one of us, the way that we are present with the presence. And it doesn't mean that you have to be Black to know what it means to know the presence. We can sure sing about it because we're singing from what we know. There's absolutely no way that this race of people who have been so marginalized, murdered, maimed in all manner of ways, that we would have survived without faith. That journey of the soul for us is to prove God, right? To prove our God is good. And not because we wish it, but because we know it. You know, there was this couple, William and Ellen Craft. They were in love, and their slaveholder allowed them to get married. That was kind of rare, but he knew how much they loved each other. And so William came up with a plan. He said, I want you to dress in some fine clothes, because she was so light-skinned that she could pass. And there's a movie called Passing that's up for awards this year. But anyway, I digress. So they were able to travel as if her husband was her servant, so they could escape their enslavement. People are not born slaves, right? They are enslaved by other people. And so what I want you to know is that this kind of faith is mirroring a faith that's inside, that may not be visible from the outside. If you just look at somebody's condition or somebody's circumstances, you may not understand how they could have that kind of faith. You know, but you have to know the stuff from which we come from. The Queen of Sheba, that was who Solomon wrote the wonderful Song of Solomon about. He was so blown away by Queen of Sheba, and she was wealthy in her own right, and she came with riches, and she came with her fineness, and he just couldn't help himself, right? So there is so many more things to us other than the color of our skin, and so much more to our history than slavery. So in the recent days, over 20 HBCUs have been under bomb threats, and the students are wondering about how they'll make it and what they will do. But this isn't the first time that we've had to encounter terrorism. We've encountered terrorism over the centuries. But we've come to know something about ourselves. Like when Carter G. Woodson taught us about Black history, it started off that second week in February. And it wasn't because it was the shortest month of the year. It was because Lincoln's birthday was the 12th and Frederick Douglass's birthday was the 14th. So that was a week to honor those who were showing us some light, right? And so we get to mirror that light, right? And so when we're spreading light, it's important for us to know that, you know, if you're given to imagining all kinds of things that are not good about yourself, if you're looking at a book like Caste and you're seeing the man's inhumanity to man that Whoopi Goldberg talked about earlier in the week, then you know that a lot of people have made it about race. You know, when you see people as one anyway, then you know it's about man's inhumanity to man. And that's not to say that we don't really know that Hitler's agenda was about purification of the race, the same kind of thing that we've seen happening in the south of this country, the same kind of thing that we've even seen illustrated through our own Congress in the Capitol building. But the thing is, this is the year of the tiger. And that means this is a year of bravery and confidence and strong will. And I can feel it. I can feel the energy. I can feel the excitement. I'm knowing that this is the perfect time for us to do Celebrating Our Soul, a New Thought Conference by people of African descent. And know that it's just not for people of African descent, it's for everybody. But we are the engineers. We are the crafters of what it looks like, right? And so we just want you all to know that you're welcome. And so as I close, I just want you to know that we are all as God created us. That regardless of whatever the appearances may be, that as Howard Thurman would tell us, if you're given to imagining how something would seem if it came to hurt you, get right away from it. Actually, this is from Emma Curtis Hopkins. If you're given to imagining how something would seem if it came to hurt you, get right away from the imagination at once, for an imagination is determined to come out some way. If you have taken some good premise in mind late in life, as we hear it expressed, you have struck a hard blow to the fears and imaginations you have formerly held. And I want us to know that we can strike those former imaginations. We can go beyond this idea of being hurt, being in danger, being afraid. We can go beyond the idea of knowing that people will continue to hurt other people. We can do this because we know, like today's message in the season for nonviolence. I'm gonna find it because I lost it. Today is day 8 in the season for nonviolence. And it is saying to us, oh, I lost it. Well, Trusted is saying something to the effect that, we get to go beyond our past disappointments and to know something greater is within us. We are the embodiment of God. And we can stand true to God. And we can stand true to our native land, whatever land we identify with. But just know that we can trust one another because we're getting an opportunity in each and every moment to be the embodiment of God. So I can be grateful for the peace of God, the oneness that we share with each other. And we can know that regardless of our history, each new day, each new breath gives us another opportunity to really embody the love of God and to shine its light and to mirror its light, to reflect its light. And, even as Omega was singing, even if we thought that the hope unborn had died, let not our weary feet come to the place where we're feeling defeated. We needn't languish over our fathers that died, our mothers that died, but to know that we stand as their descendants, ready to uphold their dignity, their light, their magnificence, because it is their spiritual magnificence that they have taught us. And it is the journey of the soul that we are each going on so that we may reveal the best part about ourselves, and that is our loving. May you enjoy this month of love and this month of history in a greater way than you ever have. Namaste. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Reverend Celeste. Would you like to go into prayer?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Divine essence, the substance of my life, the courage, the love from which courage comes, the power of this magnificence, the expansion of this love, the expression of this love is ours as lights who were born in the beginning of time, in the beginning when we came to know who we were as not only possibilities, but realities of the one life of God. And so, as we continue to carry this spiritual magnificence in our journey of the soul, we relinquish all the seeming limitations and lies. We allow ourselves to be absolutely filled with the presence of love, releasing the dis-ease, releasing the seeming separations, and just allowing ourselves to embrace the love that we are and shine our light magnificently. I am so grateful for this awareness, for this understanding, for this truth. And I lovingly release my word to the heart of God as the mind of God acts upon it. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Aho. I pass my word to Reverend Jerry.
you. So, just breathing in that amazing lesson that we've all shared in this day and giving great thanks for Reverend Celeste, for her brilliance, her magnificent brilliance, and sharing that with us and remaining in this vibrational energy of love and light and goodness. I just claim and accept right here and right now for this month's nonprofit partner, the East Bay School for Boys, which empowers middle school boys to cultivate their intellectual, physical, and emotional selves to become engaged, thoughtful, courageous, and justice-minded adults of tomorrow. East Bay School for Boys serves 100 lively 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys, and we have developed a uniquely innovative program, rich with opportunities for all kinds of boys to become all kinds of great men. So I'm honored to present and to support our nonprofit partner this month at Oakland Center and in our weekly prayers, holding them in consciousness, knowing that they are doing great work in the world. And for our planet, Mother Earth, gratitude for her beauty and resilience, and of course, our our increasingly mindful stewardship of her, blessing our Mother Earth, our spiritual home here on Mother Earth, and blessing our youth and the youth of the world, knowing that they are guided by the loving heart and mind of the One, and blessing those in service, creating a world that works for everyone. Love, comfort, peace of mind, and healing for all those impacted by challenges in whatever form. Holding our beloved Sean Boomer, our congregant Lita De Seville, who is requesting prayer for Michael, Audra, and Zach Jones. And knowing for Regina Buckwalter's sister, Loretta and Meridia. Loretta for wholeness and healing, and Meridia and Regina for peace of mind and serenity. And for Sam, and for Shannon Muse, we are knowing that they are embraced and imbued with all the qualities of the divine, the qualities of wholeness and health and perfection. And for those suffering the feeling of loss, letting go in this transitional time, for Margaret Bell Domask, our congregant, as she releases her sister, Mary Susan Domask Moody. and holding Grady Nobles, our congregant, in our hearts as Grady releases her sister, Betty Jean. We're just knowing that these divine ones are being guided to the light and being surrounded by the love of the one. And I invite you now to take a moment to go within. And if there's anyone on your heart in desiring prayer, please speak their names out into the sacredness of this space that we've created here today. So, as the names continue to be spoken, we know that we are all here by divine guidance and goodness, that we are here to do God's work. And we are so blessed as a community, blessed for the magnificence of this day, the magnificence of this time together, knowing that we're here to love and support and nurture and comfort one another each step of the way as we connect to that magnificence that we are, to the oneness that we are. And I am so grateful to speak these words this day as I release them into that universal law of life, that law of love, that law of mind that always says yes to our heart's desires. How good it is. And please join me now in saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Aho. So I know, Reverend Celeste, you wanted to share about healing from our 64 days. That was today's reading. Yes. So
Yes.
I'm going to read healing
Yes.
in honor of you today. Today, choose a painful incident in your life and find the gift it is giving you. Consciously share this gift with others. Yes. And we are so proud of our 64 days of a season for nonviolence as we're participating in it daily with the beautiful readings that are shared on the internet from our beloved team of Linda Wyman and Deborah Jackson, and also making journals available for people as well. So we are so blessed. Thank you so much for your beautiful service. And now the service has been so rich and has blessed us in such a magnificent way that it is our conscious giving time. So on the screen, our slide will show up. This is a time where we hold our gifts to our hearts, our virtual gifts, our gifts that are auto-debited, our gifts that are sent in various ways. And please join me with this beautiful affirmation. The gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. And so it is. And as I said, there are so many wonderful ways to give on our website. You can just go to oaklandcsl.org and you will find a variety of methods. There's a donate button, there's text to give, there's Zelle, and of course there's the good old-fashioned postal service. But what we know is that as you give, you step into that law of abundance, that law of circulation that just supports us every step of the way as a spiritual community, but individually. It's the gift we give ourselves when we give. So we honor and feel blessed by your gifts and are so grateful. And just thank you, because it makes all of this and the more possible for us. What a rich service. I am so grateful. And now it is my time to introduce this month's nonprofit partner. As I mentioned earlier, our nonprofit partner is the East Bay School for Boys. And we're going to have a lovely presentation. Two of the presenters are here today, David Bond and Lisa Pontillo. And Lisa is going to share with us now, and we'll have a little video. And this is who we are supporting. And it's such a fabulous time in our center to be supporting the East Bay School for Boys. So Lisa,
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Pontillo, and I am a member of OCSL. And before the pandemic, I used to sit in the front left corner of the sanctuary so that I could see Kev Choice playing the piano and Omega sing. It's a real honor to be here today to share my love of the East Bay School for Boys, which is a nonprofit middle school in Berkeley, as this month's nonprofit partner. I'm a board member of EBSB, and my now 3 young adult sons went to the school. And our family chose EBSB because we believe deeply in the mission, which Reverend Jerry shared, that is to help those who identify as boys become the engaged, thoughtful, courageous, and justice-minded adults of tomorrow. And I can attest that this has happened for my sons and for so many graduates of the school. We are going to show you a short video to give you a sense of the school, and then you'll hear from David Bond, who is the school's development director. And David and I would be so pleased to talk to you anytime about EBSB after today's service. John, can you share the video?
Most of our boys ended up at EBSB. Oftentimes, when you have preteen and teenage boys and you ask them how the day was, you get a one-word answer. It was really exciting when I would pick them up from school and I would get a whole story. One word I would use to describe EBSB is creative. I made this RC airplane using the pizza box. Something I've learned is making new friends and being open-minded. I've also learned craftsmanship. I've learned how to use tools that might help me in the future. My son Ben did want to come to school. He found it fun. The way that we support the social emotional growth of each student is to, first of all, create an environment where students really feel a sense of belonging. What I liked about the school immediately was that there was just such nice people and they were so caring. I love the community. You always feel included.
It's a very compassionate culture. It's also a culture that is fearless. It tackles the difficult subjects and embraces them and learns from them.
At East Bay School for Boys, our program is academically rigorous. Rigor to us is more than just memorizing for a test. It's also about creativity.
There are so many skills that I like to impart to my students. At the top would probably be the confidence to bring new ideas, bold ideas, fresh ideas to life from a crazy idea through the process of making it something that's viable and then actually build it.
We incorporate design thinking also into our humanities, science, and math programs as well. I learned a lot about writing and how to express myself more clearly in humanities and how to analyze. The design thinking process really pushes students to do research. It includes a process where they can look at a big picture of a problem or a dilemma and identify how to solve it.
One way I love to teach creativity is to push them to come up with a million different ideas. I had a student who's designing a pizza cutter, and his first pizza cutter looks like something he would buy at the store. And then I just kept pushing him, and he came up with 12 different pizza cutters, a robot with a pizza cutter hand, a chainsaw pizza cutter, a pizza cutter that's a pair of scissors with like a tray where you cut the pizza and it flips over, a bicycle where there's 2 pizza cutter wheels and you just run your bicycle along the pizza. After doing those 12 sketches, he was like, why in the world would I ever do like a normal pizza cutter like I wanted to? I want to do something that's cool like this. That's one way I like to teach creativity.
Something I like about going to an only boys school is there's a lot of kids who understand you, and then you also don't have to worry about impressing a girl, blah, blah, blah. An all boys environment can be a unique place for our young people to feel safe to take risks and learn who they are. They're more comfortable being their authentic selves and speaking their mind, and really taking the opportunity for them to kind of take off the mask that they put firmly on to be a certain kind of boy.
Being an all-boys school also allows us to have deeper conversations around sensitive topics in a way where they don't have to be self-conscious because there's girls around.
I at EBSB, they saw so many different ways of being a man in the world. And that was really helpful for them as they're figuring out their own identity.
My son doing a lot of self-reflection about how he's doing, what his strengths were, what his weaknesses were, really instilled a sense of confidence in him and the ability to understand and advocate for himself.
When we visited EBSB, we felt like they would graduate with a sense of who they are as a young man, who they wanted to be in the world. They would develop social emotional skills and tools that they could use to take with them into high school. And that felt like something that they wouldn't get at every middle school.
My son knows himself. He gained his confidence. He has this ability to reflect. He knows what kind of person he is. It's incredible. And he's going to have that the rest of his life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, I'm David Bond. I'm the development director of the school, so I help with fundraising and volunteering and outreach and so forth. On a personal note, I am so honored to be here for this service this month, and thank you for inviting us to be a part of this. I am just on this lifelong journey myself to become and be an anti-racist. I am just so honored to be a part of a blended family, to have in-laws. I happened to grab this during the service. My in-laws were saved this button from the March on Washington. I mean, it's an incredible journey, and I'm honored to be here. And I want to speak specifically to some of the things we do as a school, and then invite some ways that you can participate and support us. So as a nonprofit independent school in the East Bay, we work very, very hard to reflect and honor diversity in many different ways. We enroll, first a few numbers, we enroll 48% students of color. We provide tuition assistance to 55% of our families. We also cover costs such as school lunch or athletics or after school club fees. Many independent schools those are like kind of nickel and dime costs, and we're trying to be intentional around equity and around saying, look, if we're going to support a family, we're going to support a family. And so we have a fund that supports those specific costs. We also employ 55% faculty and staff of color, because that is hugely important. Our mission acknowledges that while we are a boys' middle school, we know that our boys today will be adults of any gender tomorrow, and we acknowledge that. And speaking of our mission, the term justice-minded is one of our 4 key attributes that we aim to instill in our graduates. And so toward those ends, we actively foster progress toward racial and social justice. We have affinity groups with our students, facilitated affinity groups once or twice a month to provide safe spaces for students to come together, to connect, to talk, and to learn specific skills and take action to be anti-racists, both within the school and out in the world, and as they go on to high school and beyond. And in our own curriculum and with a number of community partners, we work to address toxic masculinity, to broaden the definitions of manhood, and to build community, and definitely to support and build community among our African-American families. And so as an independent school, tuition is indeed our primary source of income, but it doesn't cover, the full cost of all of these programs. And so there's various different ways that you can support EBSB. Of course, donating to our annual fund, I'll put a link in the chat shortly, and in support of tuition assistance, helping us connect to resources. Maybe you offer a particular service or want to donate an item to our auction, or we're looking for a storefront to exhibit student work like you saw in the video from our shop class. Or we do community service activities with our students. So we're looking for partners and opportunities for our students to do community service. So all kinds of ways to connect with us. And finally, to spread the word to prospective families. I mean, we're a small school. It's not like we, advertise everywhere. but we're really proud of what we do, and we think it's important. And so spreading the word to prospective, to families with prospective middle school students. And I also put in the chat, we offer summer camps to middle school students, but also to rising 4th and 5th graders. So those are just some of the ways. So thank you again for just this opportunity to share a little bit about what we're about and to ask for your support. And now back to Constance, I believe.
Thank you, David and Lisa. That was an incredible presentation and answered a lot of the questions I had about your nonprofit. So it's been a very incredibly wonderful service today, I just want to remind you that there are many different ways. That one of the things that as practitioners that we do, that we love to do, is to pray. And there are many ways that you can get prayer, whether you need a prayer because something's going wrong or whether you just want a prayer because everything is going right. And you just want to affirm that and be so grateful for it. On the website, if you go to the link About Me and drop down, you'll see a page that says practitioners. That lists all the practitioners. Every practitioner is willing to give prayer if you call them. There's also a list of people practitioners who have, which is about all of our practitioners actually, who have offered to give a free 30-minute session, which allows you to go a little bit more deeply into what it is that you want prayer for, and to start to look at a different way of putting that, of changing your mind about what it is that may be in the way of what you want. And also today after service, you can stay and get a prayer. We call it the 3-minute miracle. Practitioner Alina Hutchinson is going to be hosting today the prayer room, and so it's done on Zoom. So any practitioner who can stay and offer prayer, please do so. And finally, I think I've covered everything. Finally, we have an incredible affirmation today. It's actually written by Howard Thurman, and so so I would suggest taking this home and just living with it all week. So let's say it together. I determined to live the outer life in the inner sanctuary. And so it is. And so now I'm turning it back over to our incredible musicians, Kev and Omega, to take us out.
Thank you for all the beautiful speakers today. Such a beautiful service. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Amen. Happy Sunday. Where are you? Where are you, family?